Welcome back, everybody. This is the season 1 finale of our first leg of Eating America. And you know what? There's no better way to end this part of it than in the South, more specifically in Texas. We're going to be making a really nice weeknight version of a Texas barbecue spread. There's not a lot of time, and this was literally the only day I could do something like this. So guys, I hope I did Texas proud with this video, and this is also special for another reason. This was a viewer request from my good friend Jonathan Nelson, who goes by Arizona HD. You will see your name in the title of this video. We're going to be doing some real classic Texas staples. This is going to be some nice smoked brisket. Unfortunately, due to my crazy work schedule and just not enough time, my grill is still out of commission, but we're going to be making a flavorful smoked brisket in the oven. We're going to toss together some classic Texas, style sides that you would expect, at a Texas barbecue. And guys, this isn't the end of Eating America. This is just the end for now. We got some great content lined up after this. Guys, always, if there's somewhere else you want me to hit, just comment it down below. Eating America will return shortly. All right, with that being said, there's a lot of steps to this meal, so let's get started. Brisket. It is the centerpiece of every traditional Texas-style barbecue. Ain't she pretty? And all we're going to do is give it a simple seasoning rub that consists of only kosher salt and ground black pepper. Like Virginia, Texas believes in keeping things simple. The only thing you should taste is the wonderful marriage of the smoke combined with the natural flavors of the meat. If your meat is bad, then there is nothing that can save you. That's what she said. And tonight we're using a beautiful point cut brisket, which is ideal for the slow cooking process used to make barbecue. The point cut has the most intramuscular fat, and it's going to break down and give us the juiciest, most tender slices of beef whenever this is done. Now guys, to be completely transparent, I'm using a prepackaged cut of beef here because it's the only one that I could find, and honestly I cannot afford the full packer brisket. That being said, I still had to cut off some small patches of silver skin. And also guys, even if you are using pre-cut packaged beef like this, make sure that you trim any exterior fat caps to about 1/4 inch thick, because anything in excess of that is not going to break down and it's not even gonna be edible. Now guys, I don't want you to turn away if you don't have a grill or a smoker. I don't have either, and I don't even know anyone that has a smoker. After a couple years of research and developing my barbecue game, I am confident that we can get an incredible smoky brisket in the oven using the water smoking method. Alright, so let me explain. After we've completely seasoned our beautiful cut of beef, we're going to put it on a baking sheet, and then we're going to bring out a second baking pan filled with 3 cups of water and 1/4 cup of liquid smoke. This is just liquid hickory smoke. Alright Texans, please forgive me. I know you guys love that post oak, and I do too, but I can't find that flavor in a bottle, so I'm using what I have. And this pan is actually going to do more than just provide us with the smoke flavor that we need. It's actually going to help this brisket retain its juices while it's cooking, which it desperately needs. So this water pan is going to go on the very bottom shelf of the oven, and then on the middle rack we're going to put our brisket directly over top of it. Our oven is set to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. This brisket weighs 3.84 pounds, and we're going to use the hour per pound method. So we're going to cook this brisket for approximately 4 hours, or until we have an internal temp of 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'll see you in a couple hours when we start our sides. Alright, so let's start talking about sides, and one of the absolute must-haves of any Texas barbecue are baked beans. We're not using any canned stuff this time. This is just a 16-ounce package of Great Northern beans. You can substitute for navy beans, cannellini beans even, and we're going to be cooking them inside this Instant Pot because it's just better. These have not been soaked, just rinsed, and I've got inside of the pot here just a 32-ounce container of low sodium chicken stock, and we're just going to do it like last time. We're just going to pour these guys straight in, give them a little bit of a stir, and then we're going to put them on high pressure for an hour. If you guys haven't seen my black bean dip from earlier in the year, I made it the same way inside this Instant Pot. Link in the description and card floating around. We're also going to be making a baked mac and cheese. You saw this in the Virginia episode of Eating America, so we're not going to cover that this time. There's roughly about 2 hours left on our brisket, so we're going to be getting things together for our sides, and I will see you all at the time of reveal. Actually, we'll see you when these beans are done, because we got to make them barbecue baked beans. So I'll see you again in an hour. And while our beans are releasing their steam, we're going to go ahead and work on the sauce. And the first thing in is 6 strips of thick cut bacon that have been cut into lardons in a cold pan over medium-high heat. And what we're going to do is start rendering out some of that fat and start crisping away this bacon slowly over time. We want the flavor, but unlike canned baked beans, we're going to have a little bit of that crispy texture elevating this a little bit, because oftentimes the pork in those cans are just way too soft, and we're not about that. And once our bacon pieces look a lot like this, we're going to remove them from the heat and let them drain on a paper towel lined bowl. And guys, please be sure not to discard all the remaining bacon grease. We want just enough reserved in the pan to give a light coating to the bottom of it. And what this is going to do is, as it cooks down, it's going to increase the smokiness, give us some umami, and make this next level. And after we've done that, we're going to go in with a tablespoon of minced garlic, and this might sound a little weird, a tablespoon of onion powder, and we're going to toast those off together anywhere between 30 seconds to a minute. And the reason why we're doing this is I'm not a huge fan of onion, and I really don't like onion pieces in my baked beans, but by toasting off the onion powder with the garlic, it's going to release its oils, giving us more of that much needed onion flavor without it being overbearing or unpalatable. And once we've gotten that nice and toasted out, we're going to add in our beautifully cooked beans. Now guys, if you're concerned about the doneness of these beans, you can definitely soak them overnight, but keep in mind, these guys are going to cook for another 30 to 35 minutes in the pan. And I also allowed some of that cooking liquid to carry over with the beans, because the next thing in is a cup of packed dark brown sugar. And we're going to get that nice and combined and let it come to a simmer. And as you can see, after about a minute or two, this is what happens. It becomes a glaze. And that's where not only the bacon grease, but the liquid comes in handy, because we don't want that sugar to burn. And after all that is nice and combined, we're going to go ahead and gently cover our beans with just enough of my special Kansas City style barbecue sauce. Or if you don't know that recipe, there'll be a link in the description and a card floating around. You can use whatever barbecue sauce makes you happy. If I had to guess a measurement, this would probably be somewhere in the ballpark of like a cup and a half, but I really just eyeballed it, because you want just enough sauce to cover the beans without it becoming soupy. And keep in mind, as it gets hot, it's going to loosen up and become a little bit thinner. And after that, we're going to add back in our beautifully cooked bacon, paper towel and all, and then give it a shot of 2 tablespoons of a good quality maple syrup. I know this might sound a little left field, but that maple syrup is going to play together nicely with the bacon and the smoke, and then it's going to cook down, and it's going to be kind of a background flavor. It's not going to be as strong as you think. And once everything is nice and combined, we're going to let this simmer off, which for me took about 2 minutes. So we're going in with a taste test. Now keep in mind, this sauce has to cook down a lot, so all the flavors haven't concentrated yet. But what I'm looking for here is not only salt, but overall flavor. And the one thing that I've noticed is that the barbecue flavor itself is a bit in the background. So I'm going to be adding in just a few shakes of a good barbecue rub. Since I'm using a Kansas City style sauce, we're using a Kansas City style rub. Use whatever you want, as long as it makes sense and is cohesive with the sauce you're using. So I want to mix that up. I had to do this a couple times, and after about 10 minutes, we went in for our second taste test, and as you can see, it's already reduced a lot, and all we need now is just a little bit of salt. The barbecue flavors are present, the sweetness is good, just the flavors are a bit flat, so we're going to get that added in, and then let it simmer off for another 13 minutes. At the 25-minute point, we have a beautifully reduced, perfectly cooked barbecue baked beans. So all we're going to do now is give it its final taste test, and guys, it is absolutely perfect. I can't describe just how good this is. We're going to take it off the heat, start working on our next side, which is the mac and cheese, and I will see you guys when it's time to reveal our brisket, and I am super excited to see the results. Alright guys, so it's been 4 hours, and this is what our brisket looks like. We have bark, guys. We actually have bark. And I wasn't expecting that from the oven, so I've got very high hopes as to how good this brisket's going to turn out. And also, you can see the red right here. It looks like it's been in a smoker to some degree, because you see the redness. I don't know if you can hear my audible excitement here. Now, take a look, after 4 hours, what the water pan looks like. You guys remember what we started out with. There's like almost nothing left. So hopefully the oven smoke method does good, guys. Texas, I hope you're proud of me. I hope we've done something tonight. So while the mac and cheese is cooking in the oven for the next 20 minutes, this gives the brisket time for the juices to settle. Now, guys, honestly, I was planning on making a potato salad to go with this, but I don't have enough pots and honestly not enough time tonight. So mac and cheese, barbecue baked beans, and, hopefully a well-cooked brisket will be enough. So I'll see you guys again in 20 minutes when it's time to dig in. All right, so here we are. This is the reveal. This is where it all comes together. All right, so for our brisket, we got bark from the oven. Not as it is pronounced of a bark, as if you would put it in a smoker or on a grill. No. But the fact that we have this impressive of a bark is a good thing. Now, there is a fatal flaw here. Well, but first, before I show you that, which you can obviously see that, that's because this point cut brisket came from a corned beef kit. Now, granted, I didn't use any of the corning spices or anything on there, and I did try to pat off, everything that was on there, but because it's still corn, obviously, because at 200 degrees it's still that pink, it's still corned from the solution, it is a bit salty in conjunction with the salt and pepper traditional Texas barbecue that you would put a brisket on, a brisket rather, but look, we are juicing, we have bark. We've cut against the grain, so let's go ahead and take this little piece right here. Now, it does taste good. That's the important thing. So, guys, if you're using a point cut out of a brisket, corned beef brisket, at least soak your brisket for 24 hours to get some more of that solution off, and then go lighter on the salt. You taste the smoke. The smoke is there. The reason why I went for the kit is because, obviously, a whole packer brisket is super expensive. That's the whole cut, the point, the flat, the everything in between. And I have no real butchering skills to get that to where it needs to be. Not only that, but it's just a lot of money, and there's not that much space in that freezer there. So this was an affordable option for me for just a couple of meals. We've seen this before on the Virginia barbecue episode. And that still hits. All right, barbecue baked beans, featuring a homemade Kansas City barbecue sauce. It is better than anything you can get in the can, and you didn't really even have to put it in the oven because of how we made it. There wasn't a whole lot of juice. There wasn't a whole lot of soup. That turned out really, really well. All right, so for about 4.5 hours of cook time, regarding the, disregarding the little logistical error with that brisket, which you still can do, just soak it. This turned out amazingly well. Jonathan, I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, I didn't have the time to gather all the sides that I wanted to, but we did have the mac and cheese. We did have the barbecue baked beans. We did have the brisket put together as authentically and as effectively and, sustainably as I could in this time frame. Guys, this is the finale of the first season of Eating America. There will be more episodes later on, so don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged at all. If there's any station you want me to hit, any recipes you want to make, comment them below, and you will see another one very soon. Until next time, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. And if you liked the 2 videos per week program that we did here every Saturday and every Wednesday, let me know. My goal is going forward, hopefully, in the future, that can be a sustainable thing where we can do more than 1 video a week. Let me know what you think about it. Hit me up in the comments. Until the next time, I love you. This has been part 1 of Eating America. We still have 42 more states to go. The road is open. Let me know what you want to see. See you next time.